Jeremy, and today we're going to look at Römisch Pokern, which is the German title for a game that translates as Roman poker. It is a relatively light push-your-luck game that lasts about 20 to 30 minutes and plays from 2 to 6 players, ages 10 and up. It's published by Amigo. Currently, I believe it's only available in Germany or in Europe, but you can easily import it off of a site like Amazon.de. I'm going to take a moment to show you the rules of the game, and I'll come back and tell you what I think about it. Okay, so I've laid out here the components that you get with your copy of Römisch Pokern, and you're going to get rules. They come in German and they come in Latin. I guess that's the idea, is to be thematic. But on the publisher Amigo's website, you can also print out English rules. You get a score sheet, and you'll notice the score sheet, it has room for 7 scores. The game will end after somebody fills in 7 scores, and it accommodates up to 6 players. Then you get a deck of cards. There's 36 cards, which are essentially just 6 sets of the same 6 cards. Each player gets a full set of these 6 cards at the start of the game. And then you finally get these dice. These are Roman numeral dice. They have X's for 10s, V's for 5s, and I's for 1s. So those are unique dice. And the way the game is played is really quite simple. On your turn, you're just going to roll 1 die. So for example there, I've rolled a V, and then you evaluate whether or not you could form a valid Roman numeral using those dice. So V5, that's fine. Now I could either choose to record it on my score sheet in any row that I choose, or I could choose to keep rolling. Let's say I roll again. Now I've rolled an I. I could choose to make that a 4, IV, or I could make that a 6, VI. And I don't need to lock that in right now. I just choose when I choose the score to how I want to align all of those dice. So let's say I wanted to record that score. So I might write the 6 in on number 1. That would be 6 points for me at the end of the game. And then it would also mean that afterwards, in rows 2 through 7, each space has to ascend in value. For example, so I would not be able to record a score lower than 6 points after I've taken that. You're not obligated to fill in the first row first. You could, for example, let's say I had a 16. I might choose to put that on row 3, but then what I filled in on rows 1 and 2 would need to be lower than 16, and then 4 through 7 would need to be ascending, or greater value in ascending order in rows 4 through 7. If ever you roll so that you would not be able to form a valid Roman numeral, so for example if I had rolled this and I would roll another V, no Roman numeral has 2 5s in it, that would be considered a bust, and your turn would end without you being able to fill in one of these rows. Since the game ends when one of the players fills in all 7 rows, you generally want to be able to fill in one of these every turn, but there's no penalty for not doing that except not scoring points. Also, the numbers that are valid only go up to 39, so if you rolled 4 X's, that would also be considered a bust, because you would not be able to score that. So anything up to 39 is valid, and essentially that's the game. You just are going to record a score each round, hopefully, until one player completes all 7 scores. Everybody will take an equal number of turns, and then whoever has the highest score at the end of the game will win. Now, one complication to this are these cards. So these cards let you modify your dice rolls generally. So just to briefly explain them, this card here allows you to re-roll 1 die. This card here allows you to re-roll any number of 1s. This one here allows you to re-roll 5s. This one here allows you to disregard 1 number when you are forming your Roman numeral. So if I had rolled 4 X's, I could play this, disregard 1, and score 30 points. This one here, it allows you to re-record on your score sheet a number that you've already recorded previously. So if I'd rolled 30 on a previous turn, I could put 30 on here as well, provided I am still listing all my scores in ascending order from 1 through 7. And finally, this card allows you to take the action of any of the other 5 cards. So Every card that you don't use at the end of the game will be 5 points that you add to your score, and the rest of your points will come from the points that you've scored in these 7 rows. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game will be the winner. Okay, so I think as you could see from that rules explanation, Roman poker is a pretty light game. It does have those unique dice, which I don't think I've ever seen in another game. And because of that, you have to make a decision every turn, every time you choose to roll the dice. And then also, as you're recording your score, you're making further decisions. So it is a little bit more thinky than some Yahtzee variants. I enjoy the game, but I would say that I wish that there was more player interaction. When it's not your turn, there's nothing to do except for wait until it becomes your turn. Perhaps they could have put a card in the game that would allow you to record another player's score or something along those lines, so you would be interested in what other players were doing. But as it is, it's really just a solitaire game that's going to be played with a group. And because of that, the game just stretches out time-wise with higher player counts. It does play up to 6, but I maybe would suggest saying that's best with up to 4. Just because the downtime between turns is going to be great. If that doesn't bother you, I would say that it's a worthwhile game. There are dice games I do prefer, such as Picomino, but this is a very inexpensive game and something that will, I think, repay the amount that you invest into it in enjoyment if you like this kind of push your luck game. So that's Roman Poker, and thanks for watching.